Yeah, I know, but thank you guys, because they actually, every film that I'm mentioning here really broadened my horizons and made me appreciate the art of cinema that much more. So well done, guys. Here we go. Number 5 is going to be Thelma. Who picked that?
Jared did.
Jared, that film was just luminous and mysterious and just nothing I expected. And it's strange, but Jim's explanation of it blew my mind. And I love having my mind blown. So that was just a great moment. So that was the great experience and a great movie. The fourth one is a Jim one, The Yellow Sea. The Yellow Sea was that was another unexpected adventure that was just fast-paced, flawless, and full of people getting killed with axes. So I appreciate that. None of happened like that happened.
It was an axey movie.
It was a very axey film, yes. And the third one was Another Round.
Yeah.
Oh, what a flick! It was just so well done, and it communicated the human condition in a way that's kind of hard to describe. It's just wonderful stuff, and of course, it's great this show because we're all drunk anyway, so it's good stuff. Number 2, which was one that really just affected me for like a long time, was A Ghost Story. That just got under my skin. That film, it was just so atmospheric.
I got 2 on Scott's list.
I know, but it was so atmospheric, and it was was just talked about where we are in the universe. It just messed me up for days. It's good stuff. And the number 1 film, the Yelling About Movies film, is Come and See. Because just amazing, balls to the wall, full on filmmaking, talking about something that people would rather not look at. And in fact, this came out of 1985, out of basically what's Belarus now. Just amazing work. I was blown away. Again, that was one of the films that affected me for a long time. A couple of weeks, it kind of put me in a mood. And that was the 5 from us. And the one outside film that I thought was my favorite, this is going to be really obvious for everybody, is Dune. Because I got to geek the hell out, man. It was 3 hours of me just enjoying a sci-fi story, and beautifully done, sweeping in scope, well acted, just luminous looking.
This close to being my 6th, just that, like right there.
Well, that's my 5.1. Okay, who's next?
But my number 5, Sing Street.
Yay! Nice.
This one I just enjoyed the hell out of. It felt like it was a bull, aimed right at me. I felt like I knew these kids. I loved the music. I thought it was gorgeously done. It left me with a smile on my face. Unlike everything else on my list, it was a happy movie. And I'm glad, John, you picked this, because I would have never seen it otherwise.
Right on.
And then we have the Jared run. Number 4.
Oh, well, Time Crimes. Interesting.
I think it's like the one genre flick I have here. It's a cheesy little well-executed B movie, and I just enjoyed the shit out of it. I'd watch it again tomorrow. I thought it was awesome.
Super fun.
Number 3, A Prophet.
Yeah.
Oh, that was close for me.
That's
this one I thought about a lot. I'm really enjoying. Did you see that our friend here got nominated for a Golden Globe this morning or yesterday?
No, for which?
For Serpent.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah. This was it was like watching like a weird version of like The Godfather, some really excellent crime story. I just really long, but worth every minute of its running time. And then Scott, get ready to smile. My number 2 is A Ghost Story. For everything that Scott said, I just thought this was, had I seen this when it came out, it definitely made my 5 best of the year. And it's quite a thing when I see a movie that you guys recommend and then I turn around and buy it.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Jim, thank you for my number 1, which is the same as Scott's number 1.
Come and See.
It's a phenomenal movie. I think it out Kubrick's
Kubrick.
It makes Full Metal Jacket.
I mean, just
It makes it look like
again,
ski
just
school.
one you thought
doesn't it?
about for a number of days afterward.
Yeah.
And I will definitely revisit it, although it was a really tough watch. Just
It's hard to watch, but man,
this was a
it's
movie I was
rewarding.
afraid to see for a really long time, and I'm finally glad that I got around to seeing it. So, so
Yes.
thanks for recommending that. And then just to say it might, the stuff that just didn't quite make the list: Thirst, Yellow
Thirst
Sea,
was
Force
good, yeah.
Majeure,
Uh-huh.
Bader Meinhof Complex, Standard, and Begotten of all things, just because that's Begotten is another one of those like, what the fuck was that? That was really I liked it.
That's
Had
true.
I been able to pick my own movie, it would have been Paris, Texas, but we're not talking about that. So the best movie that I saw this year was French Dispatch.
Okay.
Well,
Oh, nice.
I enjoyed that
It's
as
the
well.
most Wes Anderson thing
Shocking.
Anderson has done, and I can't wait to watch it again. I loved every frame of it. It left me, I just smiled like an idiot the whole time, and
Well,
it scratched
I
all
was
my
getting-
OCD itches.
I was getting a
and-
little burnt on him, and then just like
Loved it.
Tarantino with Once Upon a Time, he brought me back with this.
Yeah.
I really liked it.
so yeah, I did make a list of 12 and Stander and
Sander was close for me, man.
Hannah Arendt and some other things were in there, but the top five. Number 5, I picked Derek Delgadio's In and of Itself.
Oh, okay.
I have never seen anything like it. Thank you, Tad. I never would have even heard of it, probably. I thought it was really original, as they say, a tour de force, and very moving, surprisingly moving. So that's my number 5. Number 4 is a ghost story. That's a little art movie.
Mhm.
It's beautiful and it casts a spell, and it's so simple, but it has this audacious concept of putting this guy with a sheet over his head. It's like, you wouldn't believe it unless you saw it, that they would do this. And it's like, it works.
And boy, did
Well
they
said.
do it. They
Well
just
said.
went
They just
all
went
the way.
all the way out to the end for that. Was
Could have been the
Exactly.
camera
They
grip, but
looped
it's
all the way
Casey
around to the
Affleck.
beginning again. It was such an interesting concept.
Yeah. Yeah, no kidding. The loop. Yeah, loved it. Number 3, Another Round.
Yeah, that's my number
Look.
3 too. Yes.
I think it's
Ook.
a unique story. Never seen one like that. And
Yeah.
also relevant to an aging guy who enjoys a drink now and then,
Mhm.
You're here.
and wants to believe that life could be enjoyed. And Mads dances. So
Yeah.
Mads dances exactly.
come on.
Everyone loves Mads. Just sexiest motherfucker on the planet.
Absolutely.
And also one of the best actors at the same time. How does
That's
that happen?
exactly right.
So my number 2 also was mentioned, A Prophet.
Oh, okay.
Hell of a movie.
Yeah, it was.
Just
It was a journey, wasn't it?
It is. Well, it takes you to a world you've never been to. That's for sure.
Everyone complained about how long it was. I just want to point that out. Like
was
when
long.
when
that
I
was
rewatched
you.
that, everyone complained about how long it was,
You're the
except
only one that
me.
complains
I
about
did
it.
It
not
was
complain
picked
about
the
how
same
long it
week
was.
as Thirst, which was also 2.5 hours.
No,
Yeah, I
John
gave
still
you-
got the record for that. The Mother and the Whore, though. That's like, oh my god.
But I gave you guys 2 long ones.
I'm
apologize.
still watching
was
the Mother.
two-
and the
I know.
Whore.
It's, I
I
haven't
haven't
finished
finished
watching it yet. It's
Two
still
and a
going
half in
somewhere in
one
my
week.
house.
Size matters.
Also, one thing I liked about that particular film is that you find out that French prisoners get a baguette every day. That's
Yes.
a wonderful feeling.
Like I said, that was a
It's
better
not a
that
very
was a
good
better meal than I had the
Maybe
night
not.
that I watched that.
Exactly. Okay, go ahead, keep going.
So yeah, that was good, very memorable. Beautiful filmmaking too, I thought. And my number 1 is a Jim pick, but it's not Come and See. It's All About Eve,
Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
That's a good one.
which I had never seen. So
Why? Okay, there it is.
and like I said
Our first
before, I
Best
ate that
Picture
thing
pick.
like it was dessert. God, there was no ramping up. It was just like, oh yeah, this is great.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I enjoyed every minute.
Oh,
It's got a great ending.
it does.
It would be wrong to call it soapy, but it's as much fun, as that word implies, but it's just so much better than that word implies. The writing and the acting and the story, where it goes at the end, and how Margot Channing's character sort of evolves beyond the need for all the things you think she needs. So yeah, just great. A classic, deservedly so. I'm glad I finally got to see it. Thank you, Jim.
Well done.
That's number 1. Oh, and then my plus 1. That's a small pile because almost every movie I watched this year was a yelling about movies movie.
You know,
Same.
None
I
of us
mean,
got out
2 a
that
week,
much.
you guys.
I know that's a lot of time. It's
It
like,
takes up a lot of time.
I'm
if,
fine
you,
with
if you
just
mention a
one
margarine
much.
commercial at this point as your favorite outside film, it's okay, dude.
It was really sad at the end.
I can't believe it's not margarine.
I can't believe it's not butter.
So I didn't have a lot to
Dune.
choose from. There was a good documentary about the horse whisperer guy, the real guy, Buck. That was on the short list. The Bo Burnham's Inside was interesting. The only 2 movies I saw in the theater this year was The Velvet Underground, but I'm not picking that. I'm picking Dune.
Yes. I mean, your same reasons I did, right?
So yeah, pretty much for what Scott said. It's a big sci-fi epic. It looked fantastic. It was hard to find many flaws with it. I always find a few little niggling things about any Villeneuve film, I think, but 99% I was on board, and it was a world, it's like, it was, how long is that thing? 2.5?
It's 2.5.
Yeah.
2.5, 2 and 40.
I was like, it
little
ended,
more,
I was like, oh, I could have stayed there for another hour.
I
That
know.
was fine. I'm ready for the sequel.
It completely redeemed that guy. I used to like. Do you remember my thing is bashing Denis Villeneuve? I'm not doing
counting for
that.
taste,
I'm
Scott.
not doing that anymore.
Yeah, I mean, you're an idiot.
He's-
We all know this.
He's
I know,
the
but
best.
the thing
he's
is,
the,
I'm
he's,
not.
he's
I'm
absolutely
showing you,
hands
I
down
have
the
the
best
strength
filmmaker
to change
working
my
in Hollywood
mind.
today.
He's really great, man.
100%. Like,
I don't mind. I don't. Go ahead.
See,
God.
I am literally between the poles here because I think he always manages to screw up every movie with at least one bad scene.
John is also wrong.
I could pick movies. I'm going to break the rule once, only because I'm not going to pick a movie I picked because that's really wrong. But but I like how we're picking movies that we haven't seen that someone because sometimes we pick movies that
I have a list of movies I hadn't seen that I'm going to say
I
before.
went out.
right. Like no, I
literally-
mean like Scott will pick a movie that I've already seen, and I'm like, oh, I love that movie or whatever. But okay, so
yeah, I left out Fish Tank, because I love it and we watched it.
right, but you'd already seen it.
I'd already seen it.
So
I picked
okay,
everything I hadn't seen.
so my number 5 is a crisp pick, and that's Barry Lyndon. I had never seen that.
Oh wow!
And
Kubrick made the list.
That was my
I've heard so many,
number 2 of my own picks.
just
I-
off topic. I've heard so many fucking people mention Barry Lyndon over the last like 3 months. Like that
Weird,
that
isn't
movie
it?
is having a resurgence. Like
It's
so
true.
many people are talking about Barry Lyndon.
I think it's
thought
partly
it was
because of The Last Duel.
fantastic.
Yeah, maybe.
Oh,
Yeah, maybe.
maybe,
That makes
yeah.
sense.
Well, I thought it was fantastic. I thought I don't know why I'd never seen it because it's spectacular, and I mean the sets, the cinematography, the compositions, the color,
The barking.
it's just amazing.
Louis, chill.
Louis, Sheila's coming home from a little shopping excursion. Sorry.
No problem. So that was number 5 is Barry Lyndon. Number 6, or I'm sorry, number 4.
Okay. Wait,
I'm going up. I'm starting at 5.
There are 4.
Number 4 is a Chris pick, and that was Paris, Texas.
Oh, nice. I'm glad I got the recognition, man.
I had never seen that, which is also just a travesty that I hadn't seen it. What a beautiful, beautiful movie. I think unfortunately I didn't make the week to talk about that, but I did watch it, and I mean, I was so affected by that movie emotionally. Also visually, it's just stunning.
Mhm.
And I thought the performances were subtle and beautiful, and like how he set up the two of them, where she's in the sort of the booth doing her job, and he's outside of it on the phone. I just thought that was
It's a
spectacular.
very good scene.
Yes.
Like
Amazing scenes.
so that was number.
It was a hot mess when it was done.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was very emotional. So number 3 was Come and See, Jim's pick.
Oh.
Come and See is also on my list because I'd never seen that. Fucking A, amazing. I can't say more than you guys haven't already said.
Mhm.
That just affected me so emotionally, so heavily, and it's definitely the best war film I've ever seen, I think, at this point. And my number 2 is In and of Itself, Tad's pick,
Huh.
which I would have never, just like John, I would never have seen that. if Tad hadn't have picked that. I'd never heard of it. And I was talk about being. I mean, all of these movies sort of made me emotional, but I think I was ugly crying, like in a happy way at the end of it and of itself,
Wow.
like in a weird. And my number one, I'm going to break my rule just a little bit, just because I do think it's one of the best movies I've ever seen in my life, and that's Force Majeure. Because I don't know if it's going to make anyone else's list. I had seen it before, but John made me watch it again. I had not seen it since the one time in the theater when it came out. And I do think it's maybe one of the best films ever made.
I wanted to pick it too, but it was one of my picks.
So that's my definitely number one. And then the movie that I loved most this year, because ever since the theaters have opened up, I've tried to go back as often as I can.
Good.
And I saw this Norwegian movie called Lamb.
Oh, you saw it. How is?
Well, it's my favorite movie of the year so far.
Okay,
and
but
it's
it was
December. So
damn. I've been dying to see it.
I think it's really special. I mean, we've talked about this through various other films on this on this thing, but the Norwegians just, I fucking love the way they do film. I mean, we just Force Majeure, right? There you go. But Lamb is weird. It's like this fable. It's like a realistic fantasy fable thing with a dark nature to it that almost goes into horror. It's just really special. It's got this weird, I don't know. And I think
can't
because
wait to see it.
Yeah, I think because I'm a parent too, I sort of felt parts of it more than maybe some people might. But man, I thought it was talk about original. We've talked about, you know, all these films being, hey, I've never seen that. I've never seen that. I've never seen. Lamb is something that when I saw the trailer, I was like, this could be really terrible. Like this looks maybe like it's going to be really stupid. And it was like the opposite for me.
So
right.
I'm going to start with my movies that I've seen before that I would have picked because I'm not picking them. Narc, Enter the Dragon, Kentucky Fried Movie, Zardoz. This one I hadn't seen before, but A Ghost Story, specifically because of how much Skot loved it and then what he did with the intro to the episode.
God bless you for acknowledging that. That was a lot.
You got to
of work.
put that clip back up.
I will put the clip back up.
Because that was brilliant.
No, and it's so good because it also captured, like, I'm like tapping my headphones and like
that was
Jared's
my wife
leaning into
doing
his microphone.
That was my wife
Yeah,
doing
no.
a Tad impression, basically.
Right.
No, it's that like the fact that you cared so much about that movie.
Again, it was
to
like
be
both
like,
to me.
oh, I'm gonna do that. Like,
That was cool.
I really appreciated that.
No problem.
Number 5, Jared Pick, A Prophet.
Wow, that hit 3 times.
I want to point out a couple of things because I went back and rewatched the episode. One is I mentioned Uncut Gems in that because I said I wanted the Safdie brothers to remake that, and I stand by it. So also really long con of me waiting to pick Uncut Gems after that, which was January 17th, which is when we.
All right.
Second one, also Jared Pick, or 4, I guess. Thelma.
Yeah.
This is one of the few movies I've seen this year that I've specifically gone to people and said, you need to watch this. Don't look it up. Don't hear anything about it. Don't
watch our
read
show.
anything about it. Don't watch our
show.
episode. Like, don't do anything.
No
Just
danger.
watch the movie, and then you can go ahead and see whatever coming back from that. And the whole debate we had about whether it's a superhero or super villain movie and all of that other stuff, like, that's so fascinating to me because it's
and Jim's theory.
Yep.
No, and Jim's theory.
Yeah.
and,
After they
Can
see
you-
it, then
can-
send
can
them
we-
the link
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
with the player
Jim.
set to when Jim says his theory.
Jim, can you can you just remind us real quick, what was the theory again, Jim? It was
She's the mother, the grandmother.
The grandmother.
Oh,
girl is-
right.
She's
I
her
think
own
that
grandma.
works.
'Cause you
That
see
actually
the
holds
sta-
up, dude.
You see the snake going across, and it's the,
Yeah, and then you see that old hand.
Uh-huh.
yeah.
That's
Well,
right.
it's the old neck skin too.
Or the old neck
Yeah.
skin. Right, right.
You
right.
saw the preview, we're all going, duh. that
I
was
think,
amazing.
yeah, I don't think there's any holes in that, Jim. I think
No.
it could definitely be an explanation.
I love shit like that. That's just why it's number 5 for me.
No, between Jim and I think we figured out that there's like 2 different directions that movie could go, and
And
like
it works perfectly. on
and
both,
either
huh?
one of them is fine. Like
Yeah.
whichever one it is.
Right.
So number
Again,
3
that's
for
the Norwegians again. Sorry.
Right.
Go ahead.
Mhm. Absolutely. That's again Scott's cage match.
Yeah, exactly.
Uh,
Oh,
Celebrity
Jared,
Death Match, Norway versus Korea for cinema
Oh,
title.
yeah, you were out of the room. Yeah, they're gonna have to do a death match to figure who's gonna be the king of
Who,
cinema.
who are the kings of cinema? The Norwegians? or the
Norwegians
Koreans?
or the South Koreans? Who's it
Yeah.
gonna be?
Weirdly, the North Koreans come in and just beat them to death, and then they win.
They're probably still working on it. They're still
even
probably
even though
working on-
they've never made a movie ever.
they're
Oh, I
still
don't
working
know
on
about that.
Godzilla movies up there.
Yeah.
So I don't know where
Oh, and Tad, just a-
America is also still working on Godzilla movies.
yes, so there you go. So
just
go
a
ahead.
note, just a note, Tad, because we couldn't pick our own picks. I was going down the list and I was like, oh, I should pick Grizzly 2. And then I realized I did pick Grizzly 2. So
Keep going, man. You got it.
Number 3, World of Tomorrow.
Nice.
I've always loved Don Hertzfeldt stuff, going back to like 2000 when I first saw
rejected.
was it Genre, I think was the first one, and
Mm.
then he did Rejected, and then going on from there, and it's just there's something really beautiful about the way he sees the world, even though it's incredibly depressing, but it's just such a beautiful understanding of humanity.
I
that
like
I
the one
really-
that goes, "I'm a banana" or whatever. Wasn't that him?
That's Rejected, yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I am a banana.
Then the world.
I
ends.
am the queen of
That's
France.
a good one. When you got into sci-fi, I'm out. I tuned out.
But I that's one of those movies to me where it's just like I'm so amazed that one guy did this.
That's the
basically.
thing. The thing
Like,
about that film is that one dude made that whole movie basically.
He got a couple of voice actors and like somebody to maybe help him edit,
Uh-huh.
but like that's the whole
And
the
then-
whole
and then-
movie.
And then he just turned his phone off for 3 weeks and has made the movie.
Right, exactly. Before Midnight is my number 2.
Wow.
And the reason
Yeah.
that Before Midnight is my number 2 is because this is something that never happens to me. It made me like other movies more. I like the 2 movies that came before it better for watching Before Midnight. Like I said that when we were reviewing it, but it was one of those things where it's like I have a more intricate and impressive understanding of the conversation that flows through all 3 movies because of the third movie, and I am much more invested in their relationship by the end. Like the first one I thought was kind of frivolous, and the second one was kind of like mid 2000s, but like by the time you get to the argument that they have in the hotel room at the end of that movie,
Very real argument. Yeah.
the very real argument,
Yes. It was very vivid.
it's so affecting. Like you are so committed to that relationship and you want it to work, but you also understand the ways it couldn't work.
Well,
And,
it's
like-
it's real in that way.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
You need all 3 movies to get there, but I didn't care about it until I got there, and it made me retroactively care about the other 2. Because if you go back and you watch me talk about Before Sunrise, I wasn't really a fan of it,
No, you weren't. You were kind of.
and now I am.
Hmm.
Like after watching all 3, I am a fan of all 3 movies. So
I'm glad I could do that for you because they are some of my favorites. So
no, I appreciate you picking all three of them, like just like for the bit to start out with, but also I
No, maybe
enjoyed
you
it.
want to pick the original Star Wars trilogy.
Oh man.
You don't want to hear how I'm gonna feel by the end of the third.
Yeah.
I'm gonna murder an
I'll-
Ewok live
I'll
on
do the
screen.
three prequels.
Oh god.
I will walk off this show. I
Yeah.
will burn it to the ground.
That'd be it. I'm
Just
out.
as long as we understand one another.
So my number one, and I am also kind of breaking the rule with my number one,
Uh-huh.
is Grizzly 2.
That's
I don't remember
to the
the
bit,
last
sad.
I don't remember the last time I have had this much fun watching a movie. And then going back and watching it again, and then going back and watching it again, and then going back, and every
What's wrong
time
with you?
it's
yeah.
man, it's the funniest shit I've ever seen.
Like
Isn't that kind of like I think last year I picked Black Christmas as my number one.
yeah, you did. It was in your, I think it was. Yeah,
because
same deal.
and I mean it's Black Christmas, but I respect
That's a good
I-
movie, though.
it's a great. Well, I respect Tab for. I picked Black Christmas because of how much it made me. It was fun for me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And Tad's just having fun with
Mhm.
Grizzly too.
no, I've gone well, and the other thing is I've gone back and rewatched it with different audiences, essentially, like because I've watched it on Discord with other people a few times, and it's just one of those things where it's like I feel happy watching this movie. It's terrible. Like
Yeah.
I don't even recommend people watch it, but
I
if
was
you're
just-
gonna
I was-
watch it, I
You're gonna
will
take, if
be
you're gonna take the
there.
risk, yes.
I will be there
Well,
if
last-
you're going to watch it.
on
You're
Sunday.
like,
I was
you're like a tour
laughing.
guide of hell. It's like you don't want to be in hell, but as long as you're in hell, I'm gonna walk you through the hell, and we're gonna see all the levels.
Absolutely.
No, I was
Absolutely.
I was
I
laughing.
will, and also I will also show up and stand in the back and watch you walk through hell. Like that's also funny to me.
I was laughing thinking of that one shot, dude. I was
Yeah.
laughing almost out
Oh,
loud.
dude.
We were just talking about it last week or last
Oh my
Sunday.
god, that's so funny.
The shot of the
Well, he
bear
doesn't
in the
even
corner.
he doesn't even do that. It's just this.
No, it just leans in. It just leans.
That's it.
Yeah.
Just,
and then at the end,
Yeah.
yeah. Now we
Yeah.
use that. We use that one shot to try to sell Jean-Luc Godard on directing it. Remember?
Yeah.
The
The black and
sequel.
white Alphaville version.
I
The
still-
black and
I
white
still think-
Alphaville version. Yes, exactly.
I still
right.
think they should do that.
we should go. We'll
He-
push it. We'll push
He's
it.
still alive. He could do it.
Any addendums?
Well, I did my addendums, but my plus one is Fast 9.
Oh, okay. All right.
Entertaining as fuck.
Yeah, that was like I saw that in
Dude, they went to space.
mid-August.
Mhm.
I saw they absolutely fucking went to space. And that's what I was gonna point out.
They went to
I can't do him.
They sent a car into space.
They said
I saw a car swinging
they
from a
set
vine in this
up
film.
a car
What
going
is-
into space
it's not
at the beginning of the
particularly
movie, and they pay off the car going into space at the
Yeah.
end of the movie, and it's so good. It's,
God.
and
By
and
the time
also
you get to the car going into space, you're like, yeah, sure.
Okay, but if you say it's about
Well, but
family, I'm
also
gonna
they-
drive to
they're-
your house and strangle you.
It's about family.
they're
No,
wearing
I'm gonna drive to your house and strangle you. That's
they're wearing
That's what those
shitty
movies
driving
are.
corporate
Oh,
synergy.
family.
Come on, dude.
they're wearing shitty diving suits that are like duct taped closed.
Uh,
And so when they get into space,
Mm.
they puff up and they can't move around very well because they're in puffed up fucking spacesuits.
uh.
And it's just like you spent so
You're
much
leaving
time.
off the part where one is Ludacris and the other is Tyrese.
I mentioned that on Twitter. Thank you.
Yeah, okay.
But you absolutely have this moment where it's like they spent so much time figuring out how this would work, where you launched a Pinto off the top of a plane with a rocket on the back of it, and then it goes into space to
Oh,
take
the
out
whole- The whole
to take
Darwin
out a
Award,
satellite?
Darwin Awards thing, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah. Okay.
Except it's the Darwin Awards if you had $1 billion.
Okay.
So I have a bad history with best of lists, and I have a bad personal history with. I can never decide what's number one and what's number X. So
Sure.
these are totally out of order. And
These are 5 films in no particular order.
5 films in no particular
Plus one.
order. Okay. Jared's A Prophet. I really
Yay.
That's 4 times. That's pretty
Wow.
impressive.
I think that's
Wow.
officially our best film of the year.
No,
based on
because Come and See got 2 number 1s.
Yeah, it did.
yeah,
Yeah.
but
But a prophet was picked.
How does that work
more
in ranked
times.
choice voting?
This is how you do it. 1 point for every, like 1 point for a 1, 2 points for 2, 3 points, and then whoever gets the lowest score is the winner. And then the next lowest score is number 2, and the next lowest.
you're now giving more homework.
I'll give you the homework.
But I mean, that's how you would do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
number 2, or not really, is Stander.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
So I've not seen either of those 2, and I really enjoyed them a lot. And it's not because they're both in foreign languages.
But it didn't hurt.
I
A
couldn't
It didn't
small
understand.
hurt.
amount of standards in a
I
foreign
could not
language. Most of
understand.
it's in
I
English.
could not
Yeah,
understand.
the
Standards
English
in
is a
English
foreign
just has
language.
great
Particularly in
names.
Australia.
That
Great
film needed
accents.
subtitles, man. I couldn't understand a single word English in that film.
Oh, God damn. Anyway,
My third pick is World of Tomorrow.
Yay.
I got on too.
Really sweet, and I had not seen it before. Then I had to go with a film that I've seen at least a couple of times, but is really quite enjoyable. Barry Lyndon.
There it is again.
2 times for that one.
Yeah. And then the final pick here is I'd seen it once, approximately when it came out, and saw it again, and it still holds up, and it's a really good flick. Blue Collar, Scott.
That almost made my list too.
I
That
finally
almost
made
made
the
my
list. That's
too.
great.
that was one of those. That was
I
one of those.
really
I
like
looked at
that
it
film.
a couple of times on the list. It was like not quite, but
Yeah, I was close.
Yeah,
It was
yeah,
very
yeah,
close
yeah.
to
For me
another thing,
too.
right?
Me too.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
I'm glad I could be part of it. That's
And then it was really tough, as I think John said. Almost all the movies I've seen this year were for yelling about movies, but I did see 2 movies that stand out, and so it's a tie between the 2 of them.
okay.
Rango, which is
Oh.
an animated flick,
Oh, that's a great flick.
and it's just bizarre, and I'd never seen it. You know,
It's
I knew
detailed and strange looking. It's all kind of.
it's very strange.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And my buddy did Rango.
Oh yeah.
Really?
Right. That's Frank's work, huh?
Yeah.
Frank did Rango and a bunch of the other characters.
Dang.
Oh, cool. Yeah, the voice acting is actually quite good in
And
it.
the fake cinematography, thanks to Roger Deakins, is also fantastic.
Who
Yeah.
does that? Who does the voice of
animation's
Clint?
good.
Who does the voice of Clint at the end?
Oh, that's
Not
right.
Clint, is it?
I don't think it was fake Clint. I don't know.
It's
I don't
fake
look
Clint.
it up.
Okay, good enough.
Because it sounded more like Clint than he does.
Yeah, pretty much.
And the other one is a documentary that I saw on Netflix called The Accountant of Auschwitz.
Oh, okay.
Mm.
That
Just
sounds-
keeping in
That's keeping in your theme,
in my
basically.
theme, yeah.
Yeah.
Since I couldn't pick Come and See or The Laughing Man or even Colonel Blimp.